You have to draw a line in the sand. You have to build some boundaries.
Maybe I'm not the right one for it.
I'm to a point where I don't want to try anymore.
You are hurting yourself. This is something we see regularly.
What is someone in your life fighting for? And how can you be there for them?
All right, Joe, jumping right back into the next question here. This person says, I'm really struggling with getting intimacy back into my marriage. My husband had a short affair that I discovered, and he stopped seeing the affair partner. My husband is not interested in spending time alone with me, going on dates, or anything like that. But we have been having sexual contact, but no kissing, hugging, or affection other than sex. He indicates that he doesn't feel the same, and the sex doesn't feel like it used to. I don't know what or if there is anything that I can do to change the intimacy. I'm afraid he will give up and not wait it out to see if the feelings will come back. Do you have any advice on how I can help restore the feelings other than being a safe place?
When a person has an affair, and I'm going to assume now that the affair was more than just sex, based on the fact that he's having trouble reconnecting with you emotionally. If it was just sex, the only thing I can think of immediately that would, or the primary thing I should say, that I would think of immediately that would keep him from reconnecting with you would be if he felt guilty. So unless it's guilt that's keeping him from reconnect with you, then in all likelihood, just as we often say, just reading a question, we don't know all the details. But I'm going to assume that meant that that short affair had some emotional connection to the other person. If that's the case, then ending that with her doesn't make those emotions disappear immediately. They dissipate, but it takes a little while to do. Now, I know you don't want to hear that. I know you want to think, wow, as soon as that stopped, all those connections stopped. And if it were just a sexual affair, then basically that would be true. If it had any emotions involved with it, then you need to, you almost have to accept the fact that it goes off like this, not like this, but like this. And I know that's painful to you. But as he's going through that transition, if indeed he had emotional connection with her, and again, you're not going to like what I'm about to say, but you understand that we have to tell you the reality of things. If we don't tell you the reality of things, then we're not doing you any good. And we know that sometimes reality hurts, okay? But we're not trying to hurt you. We're trying to give you the real information that'll help you. If he had an emotional connection with her, this thing that we often talk about called limerence, Limerence, if he had that with her, then the level of intensity of his sexual interaction with her was extremely high. Now, I know you don't like to hear that. So that it was not just the physical passion, not just a physical high, but a very strong emotional high. Now, getting that with you immediately is actually impossible because of the fact that he's got to get over that with her. Now, maybe the good news for you is if he had continued in there at some point, at some time, it wouldn't be like that with her anymore either. You understand? There's a thing called sexual habituation. Any relationship that's been going on for at least 2 years, people become habituated in their sexual acts with each other. That means sex can get pretty normal, even to the point a little bit boring. So he comes off the high, if you will, of an affair back to the normalcy of having sex with his spouse, and there is not a comparison between the two. Now, that doesn't mean that she's a better lover than you. That doesn't mean that she's more important to you. It doesn't mean she's prettier than you. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. It means that he has a healing period to get past what he's just been in. And even if he had stayed with her, he would have gotten past it. By the grace of God, he didn't. He stopped. He's back with you. That the affair with her was short-lived. I'm so happy to hear that. But as part of the process of you putting it back together, it actually is advantageous that you're making love to him, even though right now it sans kissing and hugging and those kinds of stuff. Why? Because every time he orgasms, oxytocin, which is a very strong bonding chemical, is released into his body in two ways. One into the autonomic nervous system and the other into his bloodstream as a hormone. It's a bonding chemical. Now, even though it doesn't feel like you're bonding at all right now, the fact that he's having an orgasm with you actually makes that happen. The fact that you have to touch each other to have intercourse with each other makes that happen. If you're doing other sexual things together, apparently not kissing, but other sexual things together, that's also producing some oxytocin, so it's actually helping go in the right direction. But there's no way right now to match the intensity of what he had, and you can't fabricate it. But there is something you can do that can help some, and that is take the normalcy out of the sexual interaction you're having with your husband. I don't mean anything bizarre. I don't mean anything terrible. I mean, if you can become a little bit more creative, a little less inhibited if you have any inhibitions at all. For example, if you buy some exotic new nightwear, or decide to ambush him when he walks in the house some evening, something just a little out of the ordinary, something just a little unusual, will that instantly make all those things come back? No, not at all. And should you do this every time? No, not at all. And if you do it once and he reacts negatively to it, don't do it again. But what I'm saying is change up what you used to do. Add something to it that he will accept. You're trying to make it different so that it's not triggering old memories, but where it's triggering new memories, like, this is pretty sexually exciting. Does it mean he'll instantly feel all those great emotions for you again? No, but he will feel some emotions with the excitement. And, believe it or not, the more sexually aroused you become in these encounters, the more sexually aroused he'll become. It's called an empathic sexual response. You say, why does that matter? Because the more aroused he becomes sexually, the more it touches on his emotions. It doesn't create intimacy in the sense that you want it immediately, but it becomes a way to start reaching the intimacy that you want. Now, you could say, I don't want to do any of that. He's been having sex with another woman. Leave me out. And that would be your right. But what I hear you saying is, you actually want to start rekindling the intimacy, okay? You have a way to do it in the fact that you're making love to each other. So if you heard what I said, begin to make it a little bit unusual, a little bit different, especially different from things you used to do before the affair occurred. Not every time. Did you hear that? And again, I want to repeat this. If he reacts negatively, stop it altogether. But by doing that, you can begin to open up new avenues of communication so that you can actually entice him into kissing. You say, what do you mean? If you start doing something unusual in the sexual encounters that really you get turned on, remember the empathic sexual response, and he begins to get turned on more because of the empathic sexual response, then at some point you can actually kiss him during that and he'll respond. Just take it a step at a time. Don't expect too much too soon. Now, the other ways to rebuild intimacy, of course, have nothing to do with sex at all. When he's talking, listen to him. Try to understand. Allow yourself to become his best friend and that you can be his confidant about anything. Now, that's something you do outside the bedroom, but you can actually help that occur by what you do inside the bedroom.
That's good. And if you're listening to that question and you think, limerence? What is that? We have a ton of other videos on our YouTube channel. You can search about limerence. You'll find more there, or you can go to our website at marriagehelper.com. Look for limerence. We have a ton of information about it. Joe has done so much research, so much in that, and it's been so helpful for a lot of people who've experienced affairs or their marriage has been affected by an affair.